Hello, hello, welcome to Vintage Witching, and I've done it again. I'm going to show you this junk journal here. If you had watched my previous video, it's special for the same reason that I had shared my other video, if you remember seeing this journal. And so what it really was about was how this journal was made from a junk journal kit that I have up in the shop. So I picked another one. I was having a lot of fun and getting a lot of inspiration from the kit being pre-made already. And yeah, it really shows you what a junk journal kit from the shop can produce, and keeps me diligent at making sure those kits are full and really useful. Here is the junk journal kit that I used to make this particular journal. And of course, if you don't want to buy a junk journal kit and you just like to buy a, ready prepared journal, then yeah, these go back into the shop, and I have them up for sale as well. So this is a junk journal kit test number 2. I love this cover. This journal has really a spirit of time, old time, vintage. This is the cover is a lovely grandfather clock. I sewed on some ribbon here, some vintage music sheet paper here, and these 2 wooden cutouts, a button and a butterfly. And let's check out inside. We'll go from there. Some paper doilies. It starts off with this really nice vintage image here. I love finding those. Little pocket here right away. This was actually the wrapping from the junk journal kit that I thought really gave that extra color flair to the kit. There's some more that I've added a little bit everywhere. It had a little bit of a red spark in this kit, so I kept that spirit about it. So here's some vintage pages from some old books. I think this is a page from a dictionary, actually. If I hadn't mentioned it last time, there's very little that I use, if at all, any pieces that were printables. I personally prefer to work with material that's just authentic in its own nature, in its own right, whether it be vintage and old or new pieces I have, old magazines, new magazines, but no printouts. So as you've seen before, perhaps in my other video, these are little sections that I love to add just to make sure you have all that writing space. There are 10 blank pages here. Sometimes they're tea-dyed paper. These ones I left really clean and neat. They're just plain white. And you could put whatever you'd like in there. Label it as you please. This is a very old music sheet. This is probably one of the ones from the early 1900s. I thought that was pretty precious to have in here. This is from a poem book. There's that spirit of time again in this journal. Some more red flair. Here's a little pocket section. I think there's 4 pockets in here in total. This is from an old magazine, a plant magazine actually. And I just added these full pages. I didn't rip these up either. I kept them there for you to play with. This is from an old baby name book, a vintage baby name book that gives you all of the definitions of those names. And you could see which names were common a while back. Probably it's from the 60s or something to that effect. This is just a page from an old French book. Everybody likes to have that little exotic feel to it. I've heard a lot of people really love to have that French soul in there somewhere. Here's another little fold out pocketed area. What's this say here? Think happy and be happy. It's good advice. A little tag. I didn't do much to this tag. There's a lot that I could even continue doing in these journals, but I really want to make them something that you could have more fun with, So even here is an example. There's a lot of little pieces that once I'm near the end, I just add the scraps in the pockets for you to be able to play around with. I mean, really, if it was, you know, as we all know, when you have your own journal, you can go on forever, so I have to stop myself at some point. Here's another little notebook. As I mentioned last time, I have these in every journal. I just find them really adorable, and I'm sure you'll get some good use out of that. Here's a lovely little tag bookmark. More clocks in time here. I think this is another page from a dictionary. This is pretty cool. It's a fold-out vintage ad. I think this side's a travel ad. The other side's probably just whatever they were talking about in the magazine itself. More space to write. Here's a little decorative lace ribbon there. This is probably the bottom half of this grandfather clock. If you're an artist, you could probably give some extra detail to that. Maybe draw a cat at the bottom. Who knows? Whatever sparks your creativity. Here's a little handmade tag again. Just took that on there for you. And here's another section here. This journal, again, only has 2 of these sections. As I always mention, little requests to change certain things about your journal. This has 2 sections. Maybe you want 3, maybe you just need 1. You could always let me know. You could message me anytime, whether it be here or on Etsy or Instagram or wherever. So here's another little fold-out section. This is a handmade envelope. Again, more little scraps in here. I think there's these little vintage images and some stickers, a mushroom sticker, and that's there just for fun. This is just a cutout from another vintage magazine, continuing with that spirit about the book. Some red, some old. Oh, this here, I'm really happy to have had this to just add. I didn't cut this up either. I just left this complete. It was it's probably 1/2 to a longer poem, but even on its own, it's really, really nice. It's 2-sided as well. So I didn't want to mess that up. I just left that in one piece for you there. There's another little tag in there. Some more red wrapping paper. And I guess we're nearing the end of this journal. Some last vintage music sheets. Oh, and here I added a playing card and another little magazine cutout that came in the kit that I just left the way it was. Again, you could play around with that. The final Made with Love stamp, because of course it is. And this comes from the kit. I thought it was really, really nice to have on the back. It gives it that soft, that kind of soft, cozy feeling to go along with the journal. And so this is what came out. This is a completed junk journal from a junk journal kit from the shop. Oh, before I close this up, I would like to show you that these clips here are easily opened and they clip closed, so you can move things around, you know, add things, do whatever you'd like. And I always mention that if ever, because this one's already pretty thick, if ever you purchase a junk journal from Vintage Witching and you really think that you're just gonna blow it out of the water with tons of more stuff inside, let me know ahead of time, or just right after purchase you could message me and I'll just switch these out for slightly larger rings before I send it off to you. And that way you don't have to worry about running out of space. So, and that'll be that for this journal. This one, I don't know if it's up yet, but it should be up by the time you potentially come across this video. Once again, I'll be making a lot more content as time goes on. This is, of course, one of my first videos. I'll get better at it. So I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Oh yes, and this is a little charm. I always add little charms with every journal. I happen to have a grandfather clock and a little flower wood cutout. And there's always this little clip. I always have some ribbons along with the charms just as more embellishments. You really want to pimp out your journal, right? So there we go, to match it along. So thank you very much for joining me. If you liked the video, please do like. If you'd like to see more of my creations, I will be showing more junk journals that are already in the shop, and probably many more new ones that I'm going to make. So you can always subscribe, and I wish you a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me.